Hey guys, I'm at the drive-in tonight, and you're gonna laugh at the choices I made tonight, but I had a choice. I could have seen a movie called Unfollowed, which looked right over there, which looked interesting. I watched the trailer for it, and it kind of looks like a pseudo, like a fake YouTube channel kind of like adventure, or like actually scary movie. Or kind of like a found footage kind of movie. And I'm kind of a sucker for those kind of movies. I was interested in it, but the second movie was Infamous, and we all know what I thought about that movie. I hated that movie. It was so terrible. So I decided to go to the first screen tonight. And the first screen, they have Retro Night again. So I'm actually going to watch two movies that I've seen on multiple occasions. But while I was driving up here, I realized the first movie is going to be Jaws, 1975. I remember being Scott at the age of 6 years old, and I desperately wanted to see this movie. It was so popular during that year that it actually entered my 6-year-old sphere of influence. And I remember talking to everybody about it and telling them how much I wanted to see it. And of course, all the adults were like, no kid, go away and play in traffic somewhere. So I never saw it in the theater. I never saw this movie in the theater. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the only way I've seen Jaws is by like the television edited versions of that movie. So this is the first time I'm going to see it, probably uncut without commercials at the theater. So I'm excited about that. And the second movie is I've seen multiple times. I mean, multiple times. In fact, I pretty much, when I go to review this movie, all I'm going to do is be like spitting quotes at you, because the second movie is going to be Jurassic Park. I love this movie. And originally, when it first came out, it slipped under my radar and I didn't go to the theater to see it. But as the years have passed, if you guys remember, it was released in 3D about, I'd say, probably about 6 years ago. I went to see it at the theater in 3D, and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and watch that again. And again, I'm going to come back in just a few seconds to let you guys know what I think about these movies. Spoiler alert, I've liked both of them, but I'll let you know. I've never done a review for these on my channel, so I'm going to go ahead and review them for you, and then I'll be right back in just a few seconds to let you know. All right, see you, bye. Hey guys, I just got done watching Jaws. Well, first off, I'm not going to tell you how good of a movie it is, because we all know it's a great movie. It's time-tested, it's a great movie. But I did want to share a couple thoughts with you. First off, I realized it's been quite a long time since I've seen this movie. Man, it might be even the first time that I actually watched it from beginning to end, all the way through. It was a really good film. Here's the things that I kind of took away from this viewing of this movie. First off, there are some very touching scenes with Roy Scheider in the very beginning of it, where he's feeling very remorse of this death of this young boy on the beach that he was in charge of. He's the sheriff of the small town. And he is sitting with his kid, and his kid is imitating him in every single movement that he has. But Roy Scheider's character is so lost in his thoughts and his grief that he doesn't notice it until like a few minutes into it. And then finally he looks over and like cracks a small smile, and you can see that the kid is getting through that depression that he's suffering at that moment. And he leans over and he asks for that kid to give him a kiss. And the kid asks him straight out, why? And he said, because I need it. And I teared up at that moment. It was a very, very touching moment. And that's what this movie excels at, are really interesting moments. They had, it's a movie that you don't see the antagonist until halfway through the movie. You don't see this, the shark until a good, like, 20, 30 minutes into the movie. But it doesn't need it. It doesn't need that antagonist. It just needs the threat of that antagonist to care about the characters around it. And that's where this movie excels. It has such good and thought out and actualized characters. And but this movie shined because of the small moments, and that's what this movie is. A lot of series of small moments, and there is tension in the movie, and it does build throughout the movie, and you're expecting to see that the shark and see the defeat of that shark, but it's the journey along with it. It's getting to know these characters in the vague way that we do. That is the absolute joy of this movie. The other scene that I wanted to discuss with you guys is now Steven Spielberg, especially in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he loves to play with light. He loves to show the viewers these totally dark moments emphasized with light. And there's one where it just is, you can tell just watching this scene that it's a total Spielbergian movie. And I'm talking at a time when him and Hooper go out on... Hooper, is that the character's name? Richard Dreyfuss's character. When they go out in his boat, Hooper's boat, I hope I'm saying that character's name correctly, and they have that moment where they're shining the light on the water, and they come across a boat with the bite marks out of it, and the boat itself has lights underneath it. So you see this boat, the silhouette of the boat being marked by the lights that are shining through the water, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it is total Spielbergian. It is just so cinematic. It's great. That shot was fantastic. And not only that, but I don't remember that moment. So when he's examining the bite mark in the boat, and the dead body floats through the boat, it scared the piss out of me. I jumped like 2 miles on that. It was great. Yeah, this movie was awesome. For any younger viewer out there, or any older viewer like me that has accidentally let this movie escape your attention, this is part of movie history that we really should watch and know. This is part of what defined cinema for the coming decades. So, I mean, if you want to grade on this, more than likely, no, I'm going to tell you this straight out. I'm going to give both of these movies 100. I love that movie, and I could talk many more hours about it, but I'm not. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to my favorite movie of all times. I'm going to be watching Jurassic Park. It is raining like cats and dogs, guys, but I am still sticking this one out, and I'm going to watch this movie, even though I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'm probably going to say the lines along with it. I'm here at the drive-in, and I'm going to watch this movie because I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this movie. All right, guys, so I'm just going to be back to just... quote a couple lines for you after the movie. So just a few seconds away, and I'll be right back. All right, see you later. Bye. Hey guys, I just got done watching the film, and I don't know what else to say about this movie. It has remained one of my favorite movies in the last 20 years, 30 years, or whatever. It came out in the 90s. God, I love this film. I remember when I rented it for the first time. And I fell in love with it. In fact, I fell in love with it so much. I remember I rented it from Blockbuster, and I think I watched it like 5 times before I had to return it. And it was like a 3-day rental. So I watched it like every single day, and like multiple times a day. I love this movie. I just wanted to say really quickly, remember what I said about Jaws and how Steven Spielberg loved the contrast between dark and light. I mean, that's so evident in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The third kind? Time. Whatever. The Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's a whole scene where the aliens come down and they take the little boy from the house. And like every time they open the windows and the shutters, the light just streams in and beams. And it's such a contrast between the nighttime atmosphere that's inside the house and the lights that are streaming through the windows. And this movie is no exception to that kind of signature lighting that Steven Spielberg loves to play with. The opening scenes when we see the dinosaur and they're trying to put it into the cage, they're just like big old work lights that are just shining into the camera. And there's a stark contrast between that. I love those scenes. I love his vision. I love how he does that, and he kind of he makes the film like fun to watch and visually appealing. Certain things that I realized from watching the many times that I have, but it still gets on my nerves. You guys, maybe you have an answer for me, but there's one scene when they're driving onto the park for the first time, and Laura Dern's character is looking at the big folded leaf in front of her, and she's like, Ellen, you have to see this. This species has been extinct for like millions of years. What are they doing with this? But she's stopped in mid-sentence, and he like reaches down and like pulls her head and like turns it to the side, and then she like clumsily takes off her glasses and looks at the dinosaur. But the thing that stuck with me and has never made sense to me is, are they in the business of cloning plants too? Because like she clearly states this species has been gone for a while. What are they doing with it? It never made sense to me. I didn't get it. I didn't get that. But I liked her character being the botanist and how she fit into that story. How she diagnosed the dinosaur's ailments by eating the lilac bush. Every single one of these characters is just fun to be on the screen and really fun. I love this movie. This is a great movie. It's a great adventure. It's a great adventure movie that's brought to life by one of the best like family adventure directors, which is Steven Spielberg. He has proven to us over and over and over again. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's 100%, of course. I wouldn't give it any other way. This movie is by far this goes down as one of my favorites, along with Terminator 2. It's a great ride from beginning to end, and it's visually appealing, and the characters are fun and fun to watch on the screen. So, I mean, man, this is a great time. We had a great time going to the drive-in tonight and having kind of a Spielbergian evening. We went to see Jaws, which is a great movie unto itself, and then we had Jurassic Park. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Guys, if you have seen these movies, more importantly, if you haven't seen these movies, let me know, and see if I can, what I've said, the kind words that I've said, if I've inspired you to go ahead and watch these films. But other than that, I'm going to go and get going. I don't know what's coming up next. There has been rumors, as I spoke before, that they were going to open the theaters in July. It looks like it's going to be pushed back even further. It may be like mid-July that they're opening up. I know Tenet is still planning on coming out in July. It was supposed to come out in the beginning of July, and now it's coming out at the end of July. So everything's up in the air. Nobody knows what's going on. But as soon as I know what's going on, I'll let you guys know what's going on, and maybe we'll get some more good reviews going on. Maybe we'll get something more than these like smaller studios that are like making these small and not kind of pointless horror flicks. But anyways, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I hope that everybody's well. I wish everybody peace. Montanay. I'll talk to you guys later, and goodbye.